Hello students, so welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to study about the dihybrid cross. Now see, the Mendel has studied dihybrid cross by taking two characters at a time. So he has started by taking seed color and seed shape. These are the two characters he is using it. Color can be yellow or green. First I am writing dominant and second is recessive. Shape is round or wrinkled. So he started his hybrid cross by taking two characters at a time. Now see here, he is taking the pure characters. Round yellow is crossed with the wrinkled green. So these are the parents. Now gamete formation will be, if you see in the gamete, homozygotes will be producing only one type of gametes. So this is the gamete formation done by them. This is the gamete formed, okay? Now the gametes will be fusing to form F1 generation. So this is F1 generation, which is obtained after crossing the two parents. Both are pure. Now when the F1 hybrid goes for selfing, now you have to focus here. What are the ways how we can get a law of independent assortment? Teach you here how to make gametes. See, you know very well. First of all, allele pair will be separating. So this is one allele pair. Okay, beta. So first let us separate it. You will write capital R and small r. Now you will separate the second allele pair this way. Capital Y, small y. So when you are separating it, give it as a fork line here this way. So this is the way beta you will be making the gametes. So gamete is capital R, capital Y. Capital R with small r with capital Y, and small r with small y. Because law of independent assortment we have to study. So first of all, before this, you should know segregation of allele occur. Alleles segregate at the time of meiosis. And independent assortment, we are assuming that segregation of one allele pair, okay, segregation of one allele pair is not influencing the another allele pair segregation. So these are the four types of possibilities of gametes we can get it. Clear, beta? Now when we are saying selfing, the same male gametes will be also there and same types female gamete will be there. So you do one thing, you just make a Punnett box on the side. Okay, you make the Punnett box. See carefully, beta. And write these gametes here. Upside male gamete and downside female gamete because selfing. So I'm writing the gametes. See carefully. And gametes as a rule should be circled. So you are circling this gamete. Clear? And this side also you have to write the same gametes. So I hope this much is clear to you. Now you will make the box. You will make these partitions. Clear, beta? I'm showing you so that you can understand very properly. And now you have to write the genotype of the progeny. So see, beta, do one thing. Write all first together same letters. If you see R, both side capital R, so first we will write both capital R, then we will write capital Y. In the second, if you see, both side is capital R. Okay, this one and this one. And first you will write capital Y and then you will write small y. So first dominant is written, then recessive is written, and then you have to make this the genotype of the progeny. Are you understanding it how we have to do? First, same allele pair should come together. Capital R or small r is there, then they should come together. And in that case, if suppose they are heterozygous, then first dominant should be written and then small recessive should be written. Clear, beta? Now I'm doing work fast. I hope you have understood. So we will do fast here. You have to just remember capital and dominant, then only capital and small letter, so that you should not be confused later on when you are writing the phenotype. Okay, beta? That is why I'm making you कि first you should write capital first and then small letter later on. Now see where you find capital R and capital Y. You know very well it will be round. Round yellow, round yellow, round yellow, and round yellow. Clear, beta? This is also round yellow. This is round yellow. Round yellow, round yellow, and this is round yellow. So total, how many round yellow you have studied till now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you will write what? You will write round yellow total is 9. Clear, beta? And now let us count another one. Now we will count round and green. Round green means capital R should be there, but no capital Y. It should be small y. So this one is round green, this one is round green, and this one is round green. So how many you're finding round green? Only 3. So you will write round green is total 3. Okay, beta. Now you have to focus on wrinkled and yellow. So wrinkled means small r, and yellow means capital Y should be there. So 3 are wrinkled yellow. So 3 are wrinkled yellow. Clear, beta? And the last one which is left out, this one, this is your wrinkled green. So last is your wrinkled green. One only. So now see carefully, beta. If you see the phenotype ratio of dihybrid cross, you are getting phenotype ratio, you are getting 9:3:3:1. 9 is what? 9 is round yellow. Okay, beta, this is round yellow. This is your round green. This is wrinkled yellow. And this last one is your wrinkled green. Clear, beta? I hope this diagram has helped you to learn how to solve the dihybrid cross. Now let me teach you one more concept. Now see, beta, if you see here, how many total round you are getting. If you have to count how many round you are getting, check carefully. You will say total round are 12. Total round you will say 12. And if I ask you how many wrinkled, your answer will be total wrinkled are 4. Isn't it? Wrinkled are 4. So isn't it like a monohybrid 3:1 ratio? One allele pair is segregating like a monohybrid. If I focus only on round and wrinkled, I am getting 12 round and 4 wrinkled means 3:1 ratio. Now, if I focus only on yellow color, so how many yellow color you are getting? If you check, beta, you are getting 9 yellow and 3 yellow. The total you are getting yellow 12. And if I ask you how many green, then your answer will be the total green is 3 plus 1, 4. So you will give the answer 4 here. So again, the ratio is coming 3:1. It means here what we are understanding, segregation of one allele pair means when this allele pair was separating, it was not influencing this allele pair how to separate. Is it clear? Law of independent assortment tells us that segregation of one allele pair does not influence another allele pair to separate. I hope you are understanding it carefully. Please listen carefully. When one allele pair is separating, it is not influencing the second allele pair how to separate. And this is known as law of independent assortment. Is it clear?